Greetings and salutations. I guess sorry, just a second here. What is that? Tell me. Tell me. Who knows? I just picked this up at the store, got my meal. Guys want to see my kitty? Awesome cat. Awesome cat. All right, let's get started here. I want to go over this video real quick. It's only 9 minutes long. I really hate this lady because she's willfully ignorant, just like most people in life. Like, she's like, people like this, they basically, they choose when to be reasonable. You shouldn't be doing that. Nobody should be doing that. You shouldn't choose when to be reasonable. You should always be reasonable. If someone tells you you're wrong about something, look into it. Be like, why am I freaking wrong? How could I be wrong? Why do I feel like I'm right about this? But you have to have introspection, right? Like, a lot of people don't have that. So this lady obviously swallowed a whole bunch of blue pills, and she's just drunk in blue pillville. So we're going to go over it real quick here.
Reproductive rights. Right. Women have made a lot of advances and progress. Men's rights activists feel like they have virtually no reproductive rights.
Yep. We have zero. You want to know what women would say to me? They would say, well, you had sex. Well, so did you. So should we remove all... Should we remove all protections from women? Should we remove not only abortion, but the morning after pill? Should we remove the ability to give it away for adoption? Should we remove the ability for you to leave it on the steps of a fire department? Should we remove all of those? Just because... because if you want to be equal about it, if we have no choice after sex, then neither should women, right? Sex is not... Before we start, I just want to put this point home. Sex is not consent to have children. It's not. It's not. If it was, then women would be forced to have children, right? But they don't have to. And they don't, even if they give birth to it, they don't have to care for it. So they always are the director of their own lives. They decide when to be a parent, when not to. Men don't have that option. So that's why going over videos like this and talking about something like this is very important. I'm all for abortion. Nothing's wrong with not choosing, with pulling away consent, if you even ever did give it. If you don't consent to having a kid anymore, you shouldn't have to have one. What's the problem with that? Like, do we not have enough humans in the world? So yeah, I'm all for abortion, but I'm also for no child support for a man if he did not consent to a woman using his sperm to make a baby. In fact, I'm going to argue even further that if if you didn't consent and she still has it, you can work with the woman to still be in the child's life. You just don't have to worry about the state going after you for child support. Then you'll know that he's there to help, not because he's being forced to or risk going to jail, or if he pays for something, it's not worried about, get in trouble if he doesn't pay enough, But at the same thing, if you have a kid without his consent, you can choose not to let him see it. I mean, whatever you want to do. But I'm telling you right now, not having a male role figure in a child's life is a huge setback. It could lead to increased criminality, really poor choices in life. My father died when I was 8. He was alcoholic. He died in the living room of a heart attack. He was drinking all the time. He actually lost his job, his teaching job, and he hit some kid because he was always drunk. I think he even went to school drunk, I think my mom said. So he liked to drive Mercedes. He'd always be crashing them. Anyway, so he died when I was 8 and a half. So I grew up, and unfortunately anyone that we were in contact with in the family was because of my dad. My dad was the pillar. He was the one that people talked to. And nobody really liked my mom. So after he died, then we lost, it was me and my 2 brothers, we lost connection with the important, because my mom's side was all effed up. Like my mom's complete witch. And she never talked to her half sisters, like there was nobody. So after my dad died, that's it. That was it. Nothing. So we were left to the whim of my mom. No direction, no nothing. And you need direction after 8 years old, I tell you right now. And I didn't have any. And I made a lot of choices that I wish I could go back and fix. And I just know if I ever have kids, I want to give them a direction that I didn't have growing up. I don't believe in hitting kids. I don't believe in condescending them. And, it's important to teach them responsibility and communicate with them. And you can do that as a parent, as long as you're not a lazy-ass parent. Okay? So let's just continue on with this.
Do you think they do? They have virtually no reproductive rights. Do you think they do?
Sure they do.
Sure they do. But let's see what she says about that.
Men have the right to take responsibility for contraception and birth control.
Okay. That's not a responsibility for contraception and birth control. So like wear a condom, right? But pregnancy is 100% the responsibility of the female, right? It's her body, not yours. Right? We're all responsible for the state of our own bodies and what we put them in, right? So hold on. So we're all responsible for the state of our bodies and what we put them in, right? So when we wear condoms and stuff like that, it's to assist the female. Well, one of the reasons is to assist the female with her responsibility of pregnancy. Hey, Unky. Right? We're helping her with her responsibility of pregnancy. Sure, it's also help against STDs and stuff like that, but in the context of what she's speaking of, it's to help her with her responsibilities. We still don't have a choice. That's not a reproductive right to wear a condom. That's not a reproductive right for a man. That's helping the woman with her responsibilities. Okay?
And then if they have fathered a child, taking responsibility for that child's upbringing.
Okay, she just said, do they deserve reproductive rights? She asked her that. And what did she say? Let's go back.
Take responsibility.
Do? Feel like they have virtually no reproductive rights.
Right.
Do you think they do?
Do they think they do?
Sure they do.
Yes, they do. She just said, yes, they deserve reproductive rights. That's what she said. But does she talk about it at all?
responsibility for that child's upbringing. This whole fight on reproductive rights right now is definitely, there's no question, it's part of the backlash.
Part of the backlash. I mean, us wanting equality for ourselves so we don't pay for something we never wanted, just like you guys don't have to worry about. Who cares what you think it's a part of, whatever backlash it is? It's still legitimate. You can't write it off just because you think it's a backlash thing. What?
If you think about it.
And actually, I was at a United Nations
I'm
conference.
thinking about it,
I heard
lady.
a woman
From Brazil, talking about the fight in her country for reproductive rights for women and for girls. And there, the Catholic Church has tremendous influence on government policymaking and on the laws that are made, the Catholic Church. And of course, not only is abortion illegal, but birth control is illegal. And she said, she was talking about the current issues in the feminist movement there, and it was all about reproductive rights, having access to contraception, having access to safe abortion and reproductive health care. And she was apologetic. She said, we're consumed by these issues because it is how women reach autonomy. And I knew this intellectually, but hearing it from her mouth, I was struck again by how central having control over your own fertility is to your own sense of self and well-being and free agency.
Did you see that, what she just said? Having access to your own... Let's go over again.
By how central having control over your own fertility is to your own sense of self and well-being and free agency.
You need to have your own control of your own fertility. So you control whether you have a kid or not. And she's saying that that's equal to your own freedom, your own self, well-being of self and stuff like that. But she's talking about women only. Are we ever going to see her turn that around and talk and look at men in the same glasses with the same glasses on? No, we're not going to. Because she's a blue pill swallowing Karen who doesn't care about men, only cares about furthering the agenda for women, power and rights for women, and screw men. What's up, Anki? Hope you're doing good.
If you are constantly impregnated against your will, in a marriage, out of a marriage, doesn't matter, you have very little control over your life.
Impregnated against your will? Why are we talking about impregnation against your will, lady? Why? Was that even part of the question that she asked you? What are you rambling on about? She asked you, do men deserve reproductive rights? You said, oh yeah, sure they do. And now you're talking about rape? What? Why are we talking about rape? What the...
Because you're responsible for the upbringing of children, and you're responsible for their health and their care and their education and their feeding. And so having the ability to decide if you'll ever have children and how many and under what conditions and when is powerful. It's very powerful.
Yes. Yeah, shouldn't we, men, be able to... She's talking about women, obviously. But let's insert the idea of men in what she just said. Do not men benefit from that as well?
Because it makes a woman a full human being.
Okay. So she's all cares about women and making them full human beings. Turn that around to men. Oh, dude, I want some Papa John's, Unky. Look at this. Look at this mofo's got some Papa John's and you're not sharing it with me? Are you kidding me? Dude. That's my favorite pizza. I can do without their right-wing agenda, but they make some damn good pizza. Bastard. So look at her. Let's go over this one more time.
It's very powerful because it makes a woman a full
human being.
So women, yeah, whatever. So women are now full human beings because they can take care of when they have a child. But men, we're not even human beings? Like what? Are we already full human beings? Do we become full human beings once we have to pay for some woman's crotch goblin that we never wanted? Do we become full human beings when we raise a little crumb cruncher that we never wanted, the woman had without her consent? Does that make us full? When do men become? Why can't we have the same rights of when? Look at, she's all happy and smiling, like, look at about women, women, What the hell is wrong with these people? You know, this is what I'm talking about. You know, you don't know how to think properly, right? Crotch Cotlin. You know, it's like the Tate brothers and Sneeko and the thing about religion. Like, how long have you guys been on the planet? How long have you had people tell you you're wrong and there is no God? And you've now never looked into it. You've never read any of the books that I've told you about, whether you can get. Right? What? You've never educated yourself. Like, this lady has been asked about reproduction, men's rights, and where have we gotten so far in her conversation? Nothing about how men deserve reproductive rights. She's talking about women and what's good for women and how I can make women better. Women. Wall man. Fucking, and she's all smiling and giddy about it. Like, she's clueless about how the world works. You don't have to be like this. You can use your brain. When someone tells you you're wrong about something, if it's not something you've cleared recently from your mind about being wrong about, if it's not something you've been challenged about before, think about it. Think, okay, this person tells me I was wrong about this. Never heard this much before. Maybe I should look into it. Let's write down what it is I say I believe in and what do I have to back it up. Is it logical? Is it reasonable? Like, these people need to start thinking and using their brain. How good would this world be if people just thought correctly, use logic and reason, you know, go about the world, you know, this is foreign to me. Being like this woman is foreign to me. Being a religious person is foreign to me. Like, I've never been religious. I never believed in some weird little religion like this feminism stuff that this lady has obviously swallowed. I've never been a part of it. I've always been able to question the assertions everyone has made around me. I might not have known how to do it very well. That took years. But I've always had red flags go off in my head. Like, something someone says, it's not making sense. And I question it, I look at it. I used to not be able to do a very good job of doing that, but I've gotten better. And it's just about, you don't even have to be great about it, just as long as you realize that you could be wrong. The first step is like looking at yourself. Am I wrong? Could I be wrong? And you have to be able to say, yes, I could be wrong. Unky says, I was raised Catholic and never ever believed in it. Yes. I was not raised in anything. But when you say raised Catholic, I'm assuming you mean they brought you to church and dressed you up in the morning and got you to, sing along and do stuff like that. But it never made sense, which is good. That just means you have a very strong mind. You're a critical thinker. And that's determines, the Tate brothers, Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, talk about strong men and wanting to have strong men around, right? Hold on, let me check this real quick. Okay. A strong man is a man who I'm going to build on the Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate psychology, because I can make it better than it is. I mean, I really love what they have to say, but I can make it even better. When someone presents you with information about how the world works, don't just take it for face value. If it smells, if it stinks a little bit, look into, is this true? If any red flags go in your head, look in to see if it's true. Remember what I showed you before? We should all have one of these or another kind of computer nearby, okay? And look into it. It's important. We should be online giving advice from a realistic perspective. That means everyone who wants to be really good at opening the world up and exposing BS and coaching men and helping men and fixing the BS that's going on in our world should be doing it from a realistic position. Everyone should be an atheist. We should be an atheist. We should realize that this God stuff has been holding us back. All right, who cares if a woman doesn't want to have a baby? Leave her alone. If you're not forced to give blood to save a human life, then she shouldn't be forced to give birth to from a fetus to a baby if she didn't want to. She can decide when to do her life. Just like you should be able to decide how to do your life. So just realistic.
Able to make her own decisions and to control her own destiny.
Isn't that beautiful? Make her own decisions, control her own destiny. Sorry, I thought I heard somebody. That's wonderful. Like, hey, since she asked you about men, when are you going to answer that about men? Or did you already try to do it by saying he should raise a child that was given birth? Because you said yes, so you kind of contradicted yourself. Because you're talking about women, and that's not the question she asked you, you Fruit Loop. You freaking Fruit Loop.
And patriarchy depends on
what?
Men being able to control that in women.
Patriarchy. Oh, look, there's a patriarchy. What the F is a patriarchy here, lady? Can you tell us that? No, because patriarchy is an invisible enemy that you trying to tell people exists with your little feminist Kool-Aid you've been drinking. Yeah, we want to control women. Oh, yeah. No?
And that is what the fight is over. Now then, of course, those most opposed to abortion rights and access to abortion, access even to birth control. We're not in a fight in this country, again, that we thought we had, the movement generally thought was over in the 1960s, and it's the fight to access contraception. That's the fight now we're in addition to keeping abortion safe and accessible.
Hey, I'm all for that, Have all the abortions you want. That's fine, I don't care. That's fine. Have all the abortions you want, but she asked you about men's reproductive rights because you have more than abortion, right? You have the ability to take a morning after pill. You have the ability to put up for adoption without the man knowing. You have the ability to leave it on the steps of a fire department without anyone asking questions. So you never have to care for a child. But yet, as soon as you have one and you think you might need some money, you put his name on down there and say, I need some child support. Please help me. And now he's got to pay you for the next 18 to 21 years of his life for a child he never consented to. So how about addressing the question she asked you?
And legal. Well, men know this, and so access to birth control, access to abortion has always been something they have struggled throughout all of history to control. Now, women
control. We gave you the ability to have those things. What do you mean we want to control it? If it wasn't for men, you wouldn't have birth control. You wouldn't have abortion. We created these things. Men created these things for you. We gave you the ability to not only for the abortion and think, but all the various contraceptions you have. We even gave you the ability to have kids later on in life at your crusty old age, maybe. We gave you men. This patriarchy you talk about gave you these things.
Women are always going to have the control of that.
And women will do whatever it takes to control it.
Including give up their own lives. Women will seek a back alley abortion. Women will self-induce abortion. Whatever it takes to control her fertility. And she will do it no matter what, even if it means her own life.
All right, how about men now? When are you going to answer the question instead of talking about women on a question that was about men?
That's how determined females around the world are
to have the control.
Without that control, your life is a gamble.
Blah, 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 blah.
Your life is a gamble. And if you have too many children, you will be poor. You will not be able to invest in them properly. And women, especially who are raising children on their own, face economic discrimination in the workplace.
What? What? How are we getting any closer to answering the question?
Especially who are raising children on their own, face economic discrimination in the workplace.
Economic discrimination in the workplace? In what way? What?
And they're doing everything they can just to keep it together. So without that control,
Then try to have less babies. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
you have ceded your autonomy to whoever can impregnate you. So it's
Yes, whoever can impregnate you, because you're not responsible for your own impregnation, right? You didn't open your legs, right? It was just, you're walking down the street one day, oops, I'm pregnant. You got me pregnant. Like, it doesn't work that way, lady. That way, lady.
very central. It always has been, and it's why, as part of the backlash, there is this effort to, again, make abortion inaccessible, illegal, to keep contraception and birth control away from women.
You have all the contraception. I can think of just 10 or 12 forms of birth control off the top of my head. What did Bill say? If you can wake him up from a drunken stupor, he can still come up with like 5 or 7 or something? I have no idea. You guys have complete control over if you're going to get pregnant or when you're going to get pregnant, and if you're going to care for the child or not. Her question was, shouldn't men have a right to decide when to be a father as well? Shouldn't we have reproductive rights? But no, she's a bot. She's a feminist bot, and ability to think critically is not part of her brain. She's on a track. She's on a train track, and that train track does not. It's just straight towards Feministville. That's where she's going all the time. Always traveling to Feministville.
And but women aren't going back. That's all there is to it.
Oh. Does that mean you're done answering the question? Oh. That's what that means, right? Her little nod there. Okay. Are you happy with my answer? Even though I didn't really answer your freaking question? Are you happy now?
Absolutely.
And now she has to talk. She's probably thinking in her head, wow, this lady should be a politician. Because she did not at once ever, she answered her, she said yes, but then she said everything she can to make it seem like, no, it's about women. And men should just suck it up. So she said, yes, they should. But here's all the reasons why I think women, and men should just pay for stuff. What? What's up, Kyle? Thanks for joining. Kyle says, if we begin to understand what is behind this political agenda, we will see why things are moving so rapidly in the direction they are. Read the Homosexual Manifesto. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. It's recorded in the House of Congress. Okay. The Homosexual Manifesto. I haven't heard of that before. Should I have? Alright, so poor Cassie J here has to try to salvage the interview here because she's probably thinking in her head, bitch, I asked you a question. The hell's wrong with you?
MRAs feel like if women have the right to choose, pro-choice, if the women have the right to choose to have an abortion, then men should also have a right, some kind of right to choose whether or not to be a father. And so
do you see that? She's having to ask the same question again because this scraggly, crusty, feminist writing little 304, okay, could not answer the question the first time. So now Cassie has to be like, slap, I asked you this question. Isn't this infuriating? I would probably be a horrible interviewer. I wouldn't be slapping her around, but I'd be like, okay, I'm assuming maybe you thought you answered that question sometime during when you just talked from when I asked the question. I didn't understand the question. You first said yes, but then you started talking about how men should just pay, and then it's just women. At what point are we talking about the question that was asked of us? Why are we even having an interview? I can just put a robot, a stuffed animal in your spot, ask the questions, and have it repeat some bogus back to me. Like, what's the point of you being there if you're not even going to answer the question? Like, I don't understand.
They feel like, okay, well, if a woman can choose to have an abortion or keep the baby, if she keeps the baby, well, first of all, if she has an abortion, say he wanted the baby. There's just no getting.
She's nodding her head like, yeah, I understand. Why didn't you understand the first time she asked you the question? What is wrong with your brain? What?
He should have thought of that early on. That should.
He wanted the baby. There's just no getting.
Well, he
around
should have
that.
thought of that early on.
Oh, he should have thought early on. Oh, he should have thought early on. Why?
First of all, they feel like, okay, well, if a woman can choose to have an abortion or keep the baby, if she keeps the baby, well, first of all, if she has an abortion, say he wanted the baby. There's just no getting.
Well, he
around
should have
that.
thought of that early on. That should be a discussion between a man and a woman
Okay, maybe that's true.
before you're faced with an unintended, unplanned.
That's good, but that can't always happen because you can't always trust a woman to be reasonable. You're not always going to be in a relationship with a woman. It could have just been a one-night stand, could have met at the club, could have just been a wham-bam lady, not someone you took seriously. So,
Pregnancy, and in her case,
you know what? A lot of these feminists will try to say, oh, you should have had a conversation. You should have fixed that with a conversation. But you can't fix stuff with conversations, especially if you got a cray-cray lady on your hands who reason escapes her. I mean, look at this lady. You can't even ask her a straight question without her talking about women instead of answering the question. You can't trust someone to be reasonable, especially a woman who is full of hormones and making bad decisions.
an unwanted pregnancy. So if you're going to be having sex that could result in pregnancy, and you haven't had this conversation with the woman that you're having sex with, you better have it. You better have it fast.
Oh, you better have it fast. Why? Because you don't have the same choices as me as a female. I can do whatever I want. I can just get an abortion. I can I can do the 46 pill. I can give it for adoption. I can leave it on the steps of the fire department. I have all these choices. I never have to worry about anything. But you do, because Did you guys see the picture I made of her for the caption for the thumbnail? And say that I hate men. That's what's going on up here with her.
What happens if birth control fails? What happens if you're not using birth control?
Why should that be our problem? Why should us men care if your birth control fails? Why should we have to worry about it? I mean, if we're in a relationship with you, sure, we can have some empathy. We can care about what you're going through, right? But if we're not, why is it our problem? Why? What? Why? A pregnancy doesn't happen to us. It happens to you. You're the one that gets pregnant. The state of the body changes with you. It's all your responsibility. We shouldn't have to worry about what you're doing because we cannot control you. You kept talking about how you want control and blah, and it makes us, humans, and it's all about the self, and it makes a woman a beautiful butterfly. Like, you're the one that says all this stuff, right? So you have all the control. It's your body. Why should we worry about what you're doing with it? Why should we suffer consequences on your decisions? You chose to have a child with our sperm, without our consent. Why should we care? Why should we worry about that? Is it not your problem? If we didn't want it, isn't that your problem? Why should we pay for your mistakes, for your carelessness, for your choices that we never had? Responsibility? You need to have choice to have responsibility. Having sex is not consent to have children. So if we have no choices after sex, then how can you say we have responsibility? We don't. Robert King, I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean when you say not in most states, like what you're referring to. If you can specify, please, my friend.
Contraception. What happens if birth control fails? What happens if you're not using birth control?
This is what you should be asking women, not men.
Contraception. So you better have that conversation up front. That's when the man has the ability to make decisions.
See? Right. So she said, here we go. This is the cream of the crop here. She says, Cassie J asked her the first time she asked her the question, not the second time, the first time, should men have reproductive rights? And it sounds nice to say yes, right? It sounds nice to say, well, yes, because you care. Maybe in her at face value, she really can't say no, right? She might be just smart enough to realize that equality is good, so she's going to say yes to sound nice. But the whole answer she gives, the whole BS dribble that she gives after that, is just BS. It's nothing to support the man. Nothing. And everything that says, no, you're just effed. I'm going to bend you over and F you in the butt, and you're going to pay me for 18 to 21 years of your life because I'm a woman. Cassie J, should men be able to have reproductive rights? This old hag. Well, yeah, sure. But no, F men. What? Robert King. I liked you better when you went to Jen. Oh, yeah, I'm not in Los Angeles anymore there, Robert, sorry.
Either not to engage in sex or to use condoms and to use other forms of contraception.
Okay, what other forms of contraception do we have besides condoms, lady? So basically the answer is don't have sex. Like, Cassie J asked you, what would be ideal? Ideal world, should we have reproductive rights? And you're like, no, F you. Just don't have sex. That's your answer. Don't have sex. What? Dude, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up.
So that's where his role comes in.
Oh yeah, your role comes in before you even have sex. Well, that's not even called reproductive rights, lady. Reproductive rights come after sex. Do you understand what the phrase reproductive rights means? Apparently not.
Once he's impregnated her,
Oh, see that? Do you see the way she phrased that? Once he has impregnated her. Do you notice that she just kind of slides away all responsibility from the female, right? Apparently she had nothing to do with getting pregnant. It was all him. He impregnated her. They do this every time. Whenever I talk to some feminist who doesn't give a crap about men, they always phrase it, he did this to her. Like, he just shaking her hand and he got her pregnant. Like he's walking by her, touches her on her shoulder, I'm pregnant. Like, he looks at her wrong on the dance floor, and she's like, I'm sorry, I just saw you across the room, and you give me that look, and I think I'm pregnant now, so you're going to pay me. Like, she had absolutely nothing to do with it. It's a crazy lady here. This is craziness with the Karen haircut. Looks like she hasn't been laid for a while. Like, she cray.
She's the one now. So that's where his role comes in. Once he's impregnated her, she's the one now, faced with continuing a pregnancy.
Yep, she makes a decision, not him, which is why he shouldn't have to worry about her decision. He should have the ability to walk away, but she's not going to address that.
Faced with the health risks that
accompany her. That's right. That's what comes with pregnancy. I don't know why you're bringing that up, old hag. I really don't. That has nothing to do with this conversation. Who cares what she has to go through? That is her decision. She chose to get pregnant and go through it. Okay? It's her body. Talking about what she has to go through doesn't therefore mean that man should pay because she has to go through things. She chose to go through those things. What? I feel like I'm talking to like little kids. Like I'm explaining something. I feel like I'm on Reddit doing the explain like I'm 5, right? Like, this is something that you should, like, a child should know. Like, she's a grown ass adult, and she doesn't even look at the problem. She doesn't. I don't get it.
See, And over a third of all pregnancies, even in the United States, have complications
So?
and problems for her.
So?
And ultimately, he can walk away.
No, he can't. They try to. You know what some people have to do? You know what some guys have to do? They have to leave the state. Hopefully the woman won't get a hold of him, because he knows if they catch him, he's going to be paying through the nose for the next 18, 20 years. He's going to destroy his life. Men's lives have been utterly destroyed, making them pay for stuff that they can't afford. Right? They can't afford to pay for it. Or almost their entire check is gone towards child support. They can't pay for their rent. They can't pay for their food, their clothing. They got to live in a shack full of a bunch of other men because they can't afford their own place. Oh, they can't. Or you know what's done often when they search for child, when they try to drum up the amount of child support for men. You know what they do? They see what the man has made over the past so many months. And if he made a lot during 1 month, they'll pick that month and be like, "This, you need to pay this." And you're like, I made that much because I did all this overtime, blah 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 blah, and I never made. They don't care. They pick that month anyways, and now you got to pay that. And if you can't pay it, you go to jail. In the UK, I think that you don't have to go to jail if you can't pay it. But here in America, you do. You're not supposed to go to jail for unpaid debt, but they make you. They threaten you and they throw you in jail. And now, they take away your license. So not even when you're out, you can't. You don't have a car. You're out of your job, and you're expected to still pay. It's just, it destroys lives. People have committed suicide. All their hopes and dreams gone, just to appease you goddamn females who want us to pay for your mistakes. Now, not all women are bad, but the ones that think like this sure the hell are.
She has to worry about how to feed and clothe and educate. He can walk away. And she has to worry about how to feed and clothe and educate.
She should have to. Well, she gave birth to it. Why shouldn't she have to worry about that? You know what? If she can't afford it, she should get on welfare. And he should not have to pay for her decision. And she should get her money from the state and try to live her life the best she can. But I tell you what, if we got rid of child support, it'd be a lot less women trying to get pregnant. I'll tell you that right now. A lot less.
Therefore, and raise another human being. And all too frequently, men do walk away.
Just walk away.
And they should be able to. There's nothing wrong with that. Why are you like, oh, and they do walk away? And they do. Well, yeah, they don't want to deal with that BS. Who wants to deal with that? With a woman you don't want to be with? She's going to have your kid. You're doing one of the most intimate things and costly things with a woman who doesn't even appreciate you. You don't even want to be around. Of course they don't want to be there and waste their life. Of course they want to leave. That's okay. That's the way. What all the choice do they have? Destroy my life, go to jail, or effing leave? What? I don't understand why. It's this lady doesn't, like, does she not have two brain cells to rub together? Like, I don't understand. Yeah, it's just insane. Oh my God, yes, so much. Yeah, Unky, even during pregnancy, it costs a buttload of money.
So his rights have to be exercised early.
Why?
Before a decision is made.
Those aren't rights. Those aren't reproductive rights. But I see you're not using the word reproductive before there, aren't you? Your rights. Yeah, your right not to have sex. That's a right. Your right to wear a condom. She can enforce a condom. If they're going to have sex, she can enforce to make sure he wears a condom. But no, you're not you're speaking nonsense, crusty lady.
And they better be making the decision together.
She's talking like the whole world's full of roses. Like I'm sorry for pausing this so much, but every phrase that comes out of this lady's mouth is toxic and disgusting. And they better have the conversation together. Dude, what if you knock up someone you don't really like? Do you know how many women men have sex with they don't like? Do you not realize that men have sex with women they don't like all the time? We don't have to like you to bang you. I understand that most of you need to have something with a man to bang him. But we don't have to have anything with you. We can despise you. In fact, sometimes we like it if you hate us. We don't care. If we're going to bang you, we're going to bang you. Not you. You're all crusty. No, but you know what I mean.
They better have agreed that a conception is what they're willing to risk. Or
Oh, you better agree, because if you don't and she chooses to have it, then men, you get to pay, but she can do whatever she wants.
that that's what they want. But once she's pregnant, all decisions must be hers.
Right, exactly, which means he has no decisions. Which means he has no responsibility. But you're not going to touch on that, are you? You're not going to use any reason and logic applied to that, are you? Idiot. Unky, I knew a girl that would purposely get pregnant every time the youngest one was old enough to start school, and ta-da, she was pregnant and couldn't work now because she is a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, and I bet you she collected quite a bit of money from the government. I know this one lady. I lived in Texas for a short while, and she had like 3 or 4 kids, and she just stayed home all the time. She just collected money every month, and that was her life. I don't know. She just hung out outside all the time, outside the apartment. She didn't have a home of her own, just an apartment, and that was her life. And like, I don't understand how that is fun at all. You're welcome, Nikki. We're going to continue on. We're going to shred this crusty old lady. Shred it. Let's get it on. Fight!
Because ultimately, she is the most impacted. There's just no question.
Oh, she's the most impacted. Look at this. She's the most impacted. What, during pregnancy? Really? She's the most impacted. Let's diagnose. Let's break that down for a little bit. Let's see. You just found out a woman who you bang with only a couple times, or even once, who you don't really give a shit about, is pregnant. So, you don't think men are impacted with that? Huh? They can't escape? Do you think there's a level of stress there? How do you think this happened? Huh? You think these 2 little bald spots happened? I'll tell you how they happen, lady. Because of stress. Because some dumbass lady lied to me, told me she was pregnant, and I've been banging the hell out of her for quite a while. Told me she's going to have it, and that's just the way it is, and blah, 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 blah. I think she just said that to me so I would continue to have sex and just give in and be like, okay, I guess we're going to have a child now. So maybe she would really get pregnant then. I think that was her plan. I didn't fall for it, thankfully, but I found out she was lying eventually. But it caused me a lot of stress, okay? So lots of stress involved. Even while you're pregnant, I bet you anything, the stress we feel is a lot worse than your pregnancy. And then after you have it, and then we got to pay for it, you can bet your butt we're impacted. But we're impacted against our will, whereas you're having the child because you want to. So, big, huge difference there, lady.
Question, and she ultimately, she is the most impacted.
Nope.
There's just no question.
There is question.
She ultimately has the responsibility for that.
Right. I'm glad you said that she has a responsibility, and men do not have the responsibility. She does. Stop making us pay for your... Okay, I'm sorry for breaking this out. I'll just let it continue.
Child.
So the men's rights activists they're pushing an initiative to have a consent form that is signed once the baby is born. So say the woman decides to keep the baby, MRAs feel like they should not be enslaved to 18 years of child support if they would have wanted to have an abortion. So they feel once the baby is born, they could sign away their responsibilities to the child, where they have no financial responsibility to take care of that child.
Pay attention. That is the 3rd time Casey had to ask this lady the same question to get her opinion on what men should do. 3rd time. 3 times for this thick-skulled, crusty, blue-pilled eating, train track riding to Femville woman working for a magazine lady crustiness right here. 3rd time. Are we going to get an answer this time?
Well, see, this is where they should have had this conversation early on.
Oh, yeah. See, it's all about the conversations. What if you just banged a crazy lady? What if you're one of the guys like who bought into the narrative that crazy bitches bang good, and you just want to bang a crazy bitch? What if you just want to? Why should you pay her for the next 18, 21 years of your life just for having sex with her? Does that not make her a prostitute? Like, what? Because you're basically paying, make a high-priced prostitute right there. Oh, you should have had the conversation earlier. Like, it's possible to have a conversation with everyone you bang. No, and don't tell us, oh, well, you should be in good enough terms to be able to have the conversation. No, because we don't, because we're men. We don't have to, we shouldn't have to. If you're all about your body and choices, then we should be too. And stop trying to tell us that we should just have conversations, because conversations are not going to solve the problem. When you're in court, what are you going to say? Oh, I had the conversation with her, Your Honor, but she just didn't agree. Like, how well is that going to go? It's not.
And made a decision. If they're going to engage in sexual intercourse that could result in a pregnancy, they better have thought all that through.
Yes. Unless you're female. If you're female, then you don't have to, because you just have an abortion, you just get rid of it, adopt it, leave it in the steps of the fire department. You never have to worry about it. Yeah. Oh, but you should have that conversation. You know, you better be ready. Better have the conversation. Unless you're female, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You're female. All right. So yeah, let's have those conversations. Right? Unless you have a vagina. If you have a vagina, then you're safe from any consequences. Any consequences. Because we want to have all the consequences for the man, right? We want to pick and choose what we think is part of our equality, and then we'll just leave the consequences for them, because we don't want any of that. We don't want any consequences, do we? Kyle, I wouldn't expect anyone that adheres to this nonsense to respond to anything I have said. Self-discipline. Wait until marriage. I'm never going to get married, Kyle. Unless she doesn't live here, or I trust her completely, and that's really difficult to do. Kyle, I don't know who you're talking to, but I would address anything you want me to. All right, here we go.
That's where their role comes in.
No, that's where his role comes in. Don't use their, use his, because you don't give a shit about men. You only care about women. Keep it in your pants. Kyle says, keep it in your pants until you find the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. Kyle, that's might be something you want to try to tell your kids. Maybe it'll help them, but in the real world, that doesn't work. Sorry, that's not the way humans work. And if women can have sex without worrying about anything, then so should men. So that might sound nice at face value, but it's not very practical, Kyle. I respect, I'm happy that you share that, but I'm going to have to completely disagree.
Once there's been a conception and a pregnancy is carried to term, they have a responsibility because...
Right. Well, who chose to do that? The female, right? Why did she choose to do that without his input? If she did it without his input, doesn't that make it her responsibility, not his? Doesn't she have to take care of it now? Why should he help her take care of it if he didn't have any access, if he didn't have any choice in the matter? Right? Like, if he says, no, I want you to abort it, and she doesn't, then it's on her, right? Then he should just be able to, bye, I don't know you. Yeah, exactly, Unky.
They participated equally in the creation of that.
They participated equally in the creation of a child. They had sex, but really pregnancy happens with the woman, so it's more her responsibility. It's her body, her responsibility. They might have both had sex, but she's the one that made it all happen. Kyle, I get it. It won't help lustful lost sinners. Lustful lost sinners, Kyle, really? They have no control over their actions. I have plenty of control over my actions. I just choose to have... I mean, a lot of men choose to have sex. It's just... Whatever, dude. Come on, Kyle. You can tell us about Jesus, too, while you're at it?
So it's too late, then, for them to claim they have a right to walk away.
What?
Although they...
Oh, what the... It's too late? If you have sex, it's too late, basically. Because even if you use condoms, dear crusty lady, you could still get her pregnant. So just having sex, according to her, in her eyes, just having sex is just too late. Oh, you didn't have a conversation? What if you do have a conversation and she goes back on it, right? What if you have the conversation and she says, oh, well, I thought about conversation, I changed my mind, right? How are you protected? Like, I don't understand.
Do walk away. Hey, they do it all the time.
We should. We should do it. We should walk away.
I don't know what they're so worried about.
What are we so worried about? We're worried about paying for something we never wanted. For 18 to 21 years of our life, our future sucked away from us. Told when to be a parent, when to be financially responsible as a parent. Even if we'd never see the child, we still have to pay for it. Suck the life out of us. Destroy our paychecks. Destroy our dreams. What are you so worried about? What the hell is wrong with you, lady?
What they're really worried about is that they have to take responsibility.
No, we don't have to take responsibility. We are robbed. We are robbed of our money. To some chick we banged. We are robbed. It's not responsibility. It's being robbed. It's theft. For your choices against what we want. We shouldn't be made to pay for something we never wanted. Give me this crap about you have responsibility. That's where your responsibility comes in. Fucking bat.
And that they can't just engage in sexual intercourse with anyone they want to at any time. And
why? Women can. Women can. Why can't we? Why are you allowed to do whatever you want and we can't? Are we your bitches? What's up? What's up, crusty lady? Talk to me.
And not bear any responsibility for contraception.
No, because we're not the ones who get pregnant. You are. Why should we be responsible for your contraception? It's your pregnancy, not ours. This is what these women and the simps out there I've debated with on this topic don't get. It's not our responsibility to make sure. We can share the responsibility if we chose. We can share it if we're forced to. Like a woman says, you have to wear a condom. Then do so. Right? If you want to have sex, wear a condom. Right? She can force it. Well, we're going to say no. We don't want to wear a condom, then she's not going to have sex with us. Right? So it's her choice. Right? So telling us to wear a condom, if we don't, we're not going to have sex with her. If she has sex with us and we don't use a condom, that's on her, right? Isn't she the one you should be talking to now? But no, it's never the woman's responsibility. She's crusty. Is she not crusty? She's crusty. Kyle, sex is okay. We just need men to be protected for it. Okay, man? Come on. Give it the program.
Any responsibility for the outcome.
We shouldn't.
I mean, there's no question that
sexual intercourse leads to pregnancy.
No, it does. It's not consent to have children, though.
So, think about that. And where
Think about that.
where is it that a man can have total control over what happens? It's on the front end of that. He can prevent pregnancy.
How can... Oh, we can prevent pregnancy by not having sex? Is that how we can prevent pregnancy, you crusty lady? Is that... Do you really think that's a reproductive right? What? Dude, how did Casey sit here with these people? Like, I'd really like to sit down and talk to her. Like, I want to know her thought process when she sat down with this woman. I just want to know what's been going through her head. Like, how did you sit there without yelling, without... You're a better person than I am, Casey. Better person.
He can prevent pregnancy.
No.
Or he can agree to a pregnancy and to being a responsible parent.
Whatever.
That's where
F
his
you.
decisions come in.
F you. F you in the butthole. Freaking... Butthole. Butthole. You crusty lady. I don't know, guys. That was from the Red Pill movie. It's just disgusting. It's shameful and disgusting. I'm still not over the fact when Casey asked her, should men have reproductive rights? She said, yes, they should. And then everything that comes out of her mouth after that says no, they shouldn't. Like, she's not even capable of knowing what she said 2 seconds ago. These people exist, and they're in places of power and influence. And they're stupid as fuck. Dude, we have so much deprogramming to do. And there are young girls who listen to, like, crusty old bags like her. And pop out these little crotch goblins. And make men pay. And destroy their lives. And they don't care. They don't care. There's a very small handful of women who have kids and are against child support. Because they have a brain. And it's very nice to talk to those women. I just like... It's a breath of fresh air. But a lot of them... They're bots. That lady's an effeminate blue pill eating bot on the crazy train. She smiles, she talks about women, and she smiles, she talks about the FU men. Yeah, they're a little crumb crunching crotch goblin. That's what they are. At least when you don't want them. I mean, when you want a kid, then you can't wait for the baby. But if it's not something you wanted, like, no, don't have a crotch goblin. Come on. I don't like you. I don't see you like that. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Huh? That was just... I should have put the red pill in my title of the stream. Whatever. Let's read some of these things. Ooh, Karen. You guys know her, right? Karen Stroxon? She's really good. It's this lady right here, right? This is Karen. I think this is her right here. She just spits facts, dude. Karen spits facts. Really good lady. Karen Strogan says, she's basically arguing that a woman should not only have the right to jump out of an airplane, which she does, she should also have the right to grab the person next to her and drag him out of the airplane with her against his will. And when asked what rights the man has, she says he has the right to fall. Dude, that's that's an analogy, but it's and then she uses the man to land on so she can hopefully survive while he crashes and burns, right? Maybe that should have put on the end of her little analogy there. I don't know. Kyle, a woman does not have to be responsible for having a child. She can give it up quite a few ways. Okay? Man has no ways. So, talking about equality here. Please be on the same page, my friend. Let's see. Wow, that was like 5 years ago, yeah. Yes, Karen, but you're forgetting that the man should have discussed with the woman ahead of time that he would prefer not to be dragged out of the airplane against his will, so it's really his fault. I love the... There's no /s on there, but that's full of sarcasm. It's hilarious. Yeah, Karen's good. Anybody knows about Karen Strong? I mean, definitely check out her channel. She spits facts. I don't know if she still does stuff. I don't see her much anymore. Let's see if she has a channel here. 10 years ago. When was her videos? 3 weeks ago. Oh, so she's still doing stuff. Not too often. Okay. Let's see. She's the one who made the most... Yeah, out of the film, she's the one who made me the most angry. You're not alone, Tom RNZ. When she said that she didn't like the term domestic violence and said it should be called wife beating, because that's what really it is, and thereby dismissing all male victims. Oh my gosh. That wasn't in our little clip there, but that would have pissed me off too, because they don't fit in the narrative. I like throwing something at my screen. Anyone who thinks the world within such a rigid ideological framework that they're willing to diminish and disregard the experiences of genuine victims of violent crime really is a genuinely horrible person. Yes, that Cressy lady is a horrible person, and I feel sorry if she has any kids, especially if they're male. This guy writes, shames men for not wanting to be responsible, advocates for the right for women not to be responsible. Brilliant. Yep, exactly. I pointed it out completely. Yep, and this guy said exactly what I said. Did I not just say this? Wait a minute. If he wanted the baby, and he should have thought of that before, doesn't that apply to women as well? No, apparently not to the crusty lady. Right? It doesn't apply at all. Right? Because women have no accountability or responsibility in her eyes. They're angels. Right? They can do no wrong. Remember, men get them pregnant. They don't actually get pregnant on their own. They don't actually get themselves pregnant. Men get them pregnant. It's against their will. They had no part in it. Absolutely nothing to do with it. To her, according to the crusty lady's view. Remember. And why is him walking away morally reprehensible? Exactly. But her killing the baby is okay. What did Dave Chappelle say? If she can kill it, I sure should be able to neglect it, right? Or financially abandon it. Is that what he said? I forget. If she can kill it, I sure the hell should be able to financially abandon it. Or something like that. Or abandon it. Or just abandon it. That's something like that. Hilarious. And why does man have the responsibility to have thought all that through, but the woman doesn't? Exactly. Exactly. And is an abortion avoidance responsibility? Yes, it is. I'm not against abortion, but if you don't want a child, that's one good way of making sure you don't. If we have to constantly hear the feminist mantra, my body, my choice, why can't we reply with their own mantra, your body, your problem, when they ask for child support? Or my mantra is my wallet, my choice. Pearly Things thought that up. Before she said my wallet, my choice, I was saying my money, my choice. But I think my wallet, my choice sounds a little better. Yeah. A woman can also choose not to engage in intercourse to prevent a pregnancy. Yes, notice that. So applying her logic to women, she doesn't have any rights once she's pregnant. Right, like so when she's pregnant, that's it. She should have it, and she should not be able to get rid of it. Even if it comes out like retarded or something, she has to care for it. She can't give it up for adoption. She can't put it in the steps of the fire department. I mean, we should, in essence, take away all of their rights if we're going to be consistent. I've been putting off watching this knowing it would just work me up, and wow, you're not alone right here. The amount of hypocrisy and double think she manages to harbor between her ears is absolutely mind-boggling. Yeah, when she says, yes, men should have reproductive rights, but then continues, then says all the way through her blah, blah, blah. 3 times she was asked the same question. She said all the reasons why we shouldn't. Basically, the feminist belief is my body, my choice, your responsibility. Isn't that the way it is? Oh, I can just keep going through these comments. But these people's comments are not getting enough press. We need this talked about more. it disgusts me to see this. Men just have no say. We're just made to provide. We're bitches. That's what this is all about. I don't want to be a bitch anymore, guys. Well, I don't have to pay child support because I don't think I have any kids. So I'm not a bitch, but I don't ever want to be a bitch. I don't want to be someone's ATM. No. I have enough problems of my own. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is another reason why MGTOW is growing. Some of you might not know what MGTOW is. Most of you probably do. But MGTOW, or some would pronounce MGTOW, I don't know, whatever, is men going their own way, just not dealing with women. And it's not just the ugly guys, for you ladies. I have something could lay some block with me. It's yeah. I was watching some clip. The mediocre guy on YouTube did a clip of some men doing this really hard job, and he's like, "Yeah, it looks like they aren't appreciated at all. Wonder how many women are ready to do that job. Oh no, they only want the air-conditioned high-end jobs." Yeah. Yep. Such a great interview to expose hypocrisy. Right. You know what? If I did that interview, if I did that documentation, like, I don't really know how documentation should be made. Can you make a documentation and then just go over all the things someone said wrong during your interview? Like, on the end of it? Or is that not documentation? Your documentation is supposed to just do interviews and just end it after you're done with all the interviews? I guess that's the correct way of doing documentation. Me, I want to do the end of it, exposing all the bad thinking that went on in people's heads when asking the questions. Yes. I'm a ceramic tile setter, and my girlfriend works right there with me. She's tough. Oh, that's cool. Terry Johnson, some guy here in the YouTube comment says exactly what I said this whole interview, going over it. Maybe it's just me, but I thought the question was about men's fertility rights. And I think she touched on it like once in the beginning, says yes, they should, and then touched on it again by saying, yeah, no, their rights are before they even have sex. If you have sex, you're just effed. Like, that was her entire message. If you have sex, she gets pregnant, you're just effed. You just do whatever she wants. That's just the way it is. And there's a lot of people who agree with her. But good luck having a conversation with them, because they'll stop talking to you. Because once they have to think about it and come up with a reason for why they believe what they do, they treat it as hostile. Just like when I went to those female Little Women rally things. You know, like I went to Los Angeles, when I lived in Los Angeles, in the downtown, they had those women marches and stuff, and I would go there. And, you know, if I had a men's march about men's rights and someone came to ask me questions, I'd answer them. And I'd answer them why I believe what I believe, why men need rights, why I'm doing this, why it's important. But when I went to those women's marches, I asked them why they're there, they would get hostile, or they wouldn't have a reason, or they say women's rights. I'm like, what rights do you need that you don't have? And then they get hostile. They get hostile because they don't want to talk to you, because they don't have a way to respond that makes any sense. They're just there for the friends, because it's fun for the movement, even though they don't know what the movement's supposed to be about. Well, they think it's about women's rights, but they'll always go back to abortion, because abortion's never good enough, right? I don't know. Mm. Yeah. If you are constantly impregnated against your will, right? Like this guy is quoting a line that we saw in there. So rape, right? You have very little control over your life. 5 minutes later, they they participated equally in the creation of that, so they have full responsibility. Right, so did we rape them, or did they equally... You're right, exactly. These people are using my oxygen! Stop stealing my oxygen, crusty lady! Yes, Kyle. But I will say this, Kyle, and you might not like it. A child will do better in a single-parent male household than he will in a single-parent female household. Sure, women are better at nurturing and stuff, but men teach children more. That's just what we do. We're the teachers. We set them on the correct path. We tell them what they need to know and help them with stuff. So statistics show if you're going to have a single parent, it's better to have a man. But so I wouldn't say need. I say it's very useful. It's very good to have both parents, especially when you need to share responsibility. You got to when he's got to work, and so it's very good. And in a way, maybe I can go as far as say need, because it's so beneficial to have both parents there. I'll agree with you to an extent there. Yes. She constantly conflates contraception and abortion. They're not saying these people are dangerous. Yeah. Yeah, rights and responsibilities are not the same thing. She asked about men's rights, and within 5 seconds, she's talking about women. Unbelievable. Exactly. Right? She says, yes, and then she talks about women. Blah, 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 women. Men should pay. Women. That's cool, Unky. I kind of want my woman to be a little more feminine, though. Well, yeah, perhaps Kyle. Yeah. No, I think both girls and boys need a father. Possibly more than you would need a mother. I mean, yeah, sure, you can learn things as a little girl from the mother, sure. But I really think that you can get that from friends at school or things of that nature. And if a woman's going to grow up a little tomboyish, as long as she learns from a man, she's going to be okay. Lots of good comments here. Yeah. Don't worry, Kyle. I'm pretty sure he's stronger than his wife or girlfriend or whatever. I can just go on and on with these comments. This guy is, I have to decide if this woman is aware of her double standard or if the cognitive dissonance hasn't hit her yet. Everything she's saying on men's options could be applied to abortion. Yes. I kept stopping I'm sorry I stopped it so much, guys, but everything she spat out was just What is this, Kyle? After all, women were made from men? Oh, you're talking about the biblical story, Kyle? Come on. All right. I don't know if you guys want to go over any more comments or not. They're all good to watch. I put the URL in my description. Let's see here. The question was, do you think men have reproductive rights? She took 15 seconds and 2 seconds to answer. Then she spoke for 9 minutes about women's issues. I really think that crusty lady worked for a feminist magazine. So, yeah. If I remember the movie from some years ago. Okay, well, crusty lady. Ted, can you please do a video explaining how flawed the theory of molecular propulsion is? Really? How is that interesting at all? I'm gonna put people to sleep on that. Well, I'm Clyde. Call this episode. I didn't think you was gonna. I don't think you was gonna. 2 in 1 day. Let me ask you a question. All right, Unky. Just playing, bro. All right. I remember watching this guy here. Yeah, this guy's a real semen guzzler. Yes. How long?
Hey everybody.
18 minutes. Eh. Yeah, I'm trying to see. Yeah, whatever. Well, the red pill is very good. If you guys haven't seen it, you definitely should. That's it. I've talked long enough. I'm going to go ahead and close this out because I don't want to ramble on too much. Hey, you guys could do me a favor and like pass out my vids. That'd be great. Like paste it somewhere. Give me what the Poor Man's Podcast calls in the HBO special. Maybe I'll get like 5 more people. I don't know. Then we can have more dialogue in here. I'm trying not to suck. I really am. I promise you. Alright, guys. Peace.